Hi, and welcome to the Day One Podcast, episode 7 here with my man JoeyBoy.
Yes,
JoeyBoy,
sir.
how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Episode 7.
Episode 7, we're rolling along here.
Nice. How's it been so far?
It's been great. We've been getting some awesome guests, and obviously having you here is a treat as well. But,
I appreciate that.
So just to explain to you, with the Day One Podcast, we talk to people about their career, what's happened over the years. They can give us maybe a little bit of insight about, what has happened and how you've really achieved your success that you have today. So to get started, tell me a little bit about where you grew up and what your childhood was like for you.
Born in Philly. A lot of people think I'm from LA. I was born in Philly.
Okay.
Dad's from the South Bronx, New York. He met my mom in Philly. He knocked her up, and there he goes, the Puerto Rican miracle, me. It got really bad, though, back in Philly, growing up in the hood, and they moved to 3,000 miles away to another hood. They moved from Philly to East LA,
Right.
which didn't get too much better. And raised in East LA, Highland Park to be specific. And then about 12, 13, gangs took over East LA. Then my parents moved to Burbank. So I went to major my schooling in junior high school,
Right.
in Burbank. And they're still in the same little apartment when I was 12 years old. They're staying in the same little apartment because I've been trying to get them to move out here to Phoenix. They just won't have it. They're Cali.
Now, how often do you go out to California then?
I try to go holidays. Well, I'm going in about a month for a friend's wedding, so I'm gonna stay at my parents' house,
Right.
and probably stay in my old room. One of the first times I
That's
got
always an
some, go back home. Yeah, so I go probably about 4 times a year, 5
Right.
times a year. I really have my a couple of friends out there and my parents that I miss. So all my family's mainly back east.
So how, growing up in that environment, how did that shape you? What was school like, with the gangs and stuff like that? Was that an influence on your life? How did it affect you?
Absolutely, because I was a product of East Coast and West Coast. There was no beef for me, East Coast, West Coast beef, because every summer growing up, literally since I was 6 or 7 years old, maybe a little older, maybe 7, 8 years old, my parents would send me back east to Philly for the summer. So I would spend most of the year in LA, but spent about 2 to 3 months every year in Philadelphia. So I was a product of East Coast kind of style and flav and music,
Right.
culture.
Especially during that time, there was a lot of heavy culture and music going on.
Yes. And then obviously in LA. And I'm Puerto Rican, so growing up in LA, the kids didn't know what a Puerto Rican was. I mean, they were so heavily Mexican. I met people, they thought Puerto Rico was a city in Mexico. That's how crazy it was. So I got the best of both cultures. I still identified as Puerto Rican, and I got my little dose once a year growing up in Philly. Then I went back to LA and just really appreciated the culture of all my Mexican homies and the food and the lifestyle and the lowriders and it was just cool.
Definitely.
And the gangs, the gangs were the gangs. The gang I was afraid of most was my mom and dad.
Coming home.
Oh my gosh. I got approached so many times to join gangs. I'm like, there's nothing you can do to scare me more than my Puerto Rican South Bronx father, tatted up, who used to run in South Bronx, New York gangs.
Yeah.
So my dad was my fear. I was like, there's nothing you guys can say to me to scare me more than my dad. He was hard on us because he wanted better for us. He never graduated, and he learned from his mistakes, and he wanted better for us. So he was very, very stern with us, but he was a big kid. When he had a little money in his pocket, he treated us so.
Right.
It was awesome. I wouldn't change growing up for anything the way I was raised.
So do you look at your parents as kind of role models then, or how do you take what you learned from them as a kid and how they raised you to how you apply it today with your kids?
You know what? I think I was just having this conversation with someone last week, and they paid me to compliment how great my children are. I got a 14-year-old son who's starting Saguaro High, and very just respectful kid. Just great kid. I got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and people just sees them with me in restaurants and how they listen to me and stuff like that. I think it's a norm, but it's all credited to my parents. My parents didn't play that. If we were in a restaurant, you're going to learn how to behave. You're not going to be running around the restaurant. You're going to have manners. You're going to know how to talk to people. So I credit that to my parents. The way they raised me is how I'm raising my kids. So when I get a compliment of how good my kids are, I really like, yep, that's my mom and dad's teachings right there.
Now, what was the initial thing for you coming out of school, starting to grow up, coming into your teenage years? What were things that inspired you, and what initially got you into radio?
You know what? It's simple as I remember vividly my mom taking me to high school, freshman, sophomore year, and listening to the biggest station at the time was Power 106. It's probably one of the biggest hip hop stations in the world. There's a couple you can name out there, Power 106 being one of them. And I remember listening to it growing up, going to high school and thinking, loving the music and loving the guys talking on the radio. And it kind of interested me. And then in my sophomore year, I want to say, we had Career Day. You guys remember Career Day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, they had people, speakers and stuff like that. I was sick the day you were supposed to pick. So when I got there the next day, they gave me 2 slips they chose the 2 people for me that I was going to sit in class.
Right.
I'm like, cool. So I look at the first one at hotel management. So I did the class. Thought it was interesting. A guy talking about he was a manager of a hotel, and I really actually considered it. It was kind of weird. I thought that'd be kind of cool, maybe being a hotel manager in Hawaii or Puerto Rico.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The second, it just said DJ, and I thought it was a DJ. I'm like, man, I missed out. They gave me this.
Right.
I went DJ, and I thought it was gonna be a DJ playing music. No, it was a radio DJ from the station I grew up listening to, Power 106.
Wow.
His name was Frank Lozano. He had the #1 night show at Power 106 at the time. And I'll never forget, he came in, hi kids, Frank Lozano. As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy here on the radio every night while I'm doing my homework.
That's crazy.
So he's like, this, Frank Lozano, Power 106, I do nights, this is what I do. And he rolled out this big old TV. Remember, it had the strap on it. Well, I don't know if you guys remember, but it had a whole thing, kids, called VCR. And he popped in this big tape, and this is what I do. He popped it in, and it was like a video of what he did. It was like a 10, 15-minute video of him on the air, Power 106, and minute 5. I'm like, that's what I want to do.
That's what you're going to do.
I'm going to work at Power 106. Wow. I want to do what he does. So I would say 6 years later, I was doing nights at Power 106.
That's amazing.
Like, I willed it out there. I believe in the power of willing it out there in the universe.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
I totally believe that. So I told myself, I told all my friends, and they were like, oh, yeah, you're going to be on Power 106. Sure, dude. Okay. Are you going to be a hotel manager too? But I told all my boys I'm going to be on Power 106.
Sure.
And 7 years later, to the date, I was hosting the #1 night show in LA. It was crazy.
Now, what gave you that drive and that know-how to just say, I'm going to put it all on the line, and I'm not going to, leave anything behind and just accomplish what I want to do?
I think it was being raised. My dad is a world-renowned drummer. He traveled the world, and he was with a Latin Grammy Award-winning, they were called the Poncho Sanchez Latin Jazz Band. And my dad he's traveling all over. He had Grammys, and I would go to his gigs. And he's just my dad, but I would see him go to places, and people lose their mind that this was Papo. His name was Papo.
Yeah.
And these kids that were my age that were practicing playing congas and bongos and timbales, and my dad was their idol, and it was so weird to me. And I would see him sign autographs and take pictures. So my first kind of motivation was, I want to be famous like my dad. But I don't want to play drums because, whatever your parents do is never cool to you, no matter what. Like, my dad was one of the biggest percussion players and still is.
Right.
But it wasn't cool. When people were tripping, they're like, you're not in a band? You don't play the drums? I'm like, no, I don't want to. That's my dad's thing.
Yeah.
So I think my motivation is like, radio can make me famous.
Yeah.
It wasn't money. I just wanted to be famous. Literally, at 14, 15, I wanted to sign an autograph or someone run up on me wanting to take a picture with me because I thought, like, wow, that's so cool. My dad has these people admire him so much and that are like, oh, my God, your dad is Papo. It's almost like I didn't want to live in his shadow, and I felt like I was beneath him because I wasn't playing drums.
Yeah.
Maybe my dumb ass should have asked him to teach me how to play drums. Wasn't my thing. It wasn't my calling.
Yeah.
So I think that was the motivation. I wanted to be as famous as my dad, but not necessarily be my dad. So I found my own way, my own lane, and it paid off because since 15, I knew I was going to do radio. There was no plan B.
No ifs, ands, yeah.
Yeah.
So for the people that are listening, a lot of people are going to have the same answer that you just gave. I just want to be famous. I want to have that experience. I want someone to come up and take a selfie with me or get that
Right.
signature and stuff. If you were to go back and approach it in today's day and age, how would you go about either getting on radio or taking the same approach to wanting to get that fame?
Like if I were to go back in time then or now?
So if you were to do it now.
Now.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a different world, man. I think there's so many ways you can do it. I mean, just the power of social networking is crazy how people are famous just for having a dope Instagram account. And you a question, I see these people, it's like, yo, that's dope. This guy on a catchphrase. You know, if you look at some of these people that got famous, like, haha, got him.
Right.
That guy's famous. Or what are those?
Yeah.
That guy got famous by
It's overnight too, which is just crazy.
Guy said, "Damn, Daniel," and it blows my mind. Like, you don't have to have a talent if you want to be famous.
You have to have creativity.
Or dumb luck.
Right. That's
Someone happened to be recording at that point and became viral.
Yeah.
So it's a different world. But for people that are talented, here's what I tell people that come up to me: you got to choose. What do you want to do? Because all you got to do is easy. Choose.
Yeah.
And if you set your mind that you want to do that, then you speak it into existence. You got to will it out there. I tell my son all the time, oh, you want to be in the NFL. You've chosen. And I always tell him that, you know, well, hard work beats talent. Mm-hmm. So you got to work hard at it.
Definitely.
But I think it comes very, very simple. And I promise you, it's as simple as choosing. And people so many times that I hear, or people that I know, they have these kids and they're in second year in college. They haven't even chosen what they want to do yet. I'm like, are you by 15? I knew.
I was the same exact way. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work for myself. I want to do exactly what I want to do. I don't want to answer to anybody, and it's just gonna be, you know, how I go about life. 'Cause
Yeah.
I want the freedom.
Right.
I want to be able to do what I want when I want and how
But
I
you
want to do
chose
it.
that.
Exactly.
It might not happen at 19.
Right,
It might not
yeah,
happen
yeah.
at 15. But eventually you got to choose. And for the people that they're too scared to do it because they feel like they're going to fail. It's okay to fail.
Yeah, it's inaction is the worst thing for me is that you just always have to be doing something.
Absolutely. You got to work at it. You got to work at your craft or whatever it is. But I tell my kids, I tell other people's kids, you just have to choose whatever you want to do. It's not silly. It's not think big. But eventually you just want to be happy. You know, my uncle once told me, a long time ago, I told my son, you just got to find out what you love to do and then find out how to get paid to do it.
Right.
You will be happy in life. And I'm happy. I'm still doing radio. I love what I do. And I'm getting paid for it. I'm not going to starve anytime soon. Neither are my kids. But to me, it's as simple as just choose what you want to do.
Now, after you were done in LA, how did you make your transition out to Arizona? When did that happen? And what are some of the in-between jobs that you went through to get here?
Man, it's been an interesting ride because when I started at Power 106, my first gig, I was in promotions. I just wanted to get in there. Funny story about that. When I had that career day, I was only about 15 years old. Power 106 happened to be in Burbank. It literally was a bike ride from my house and from my high school to the radio station.
Yeah.
One of the biggest radio stations in the world was in my neighborhood.
That's crazy.
So I would ride my bike once a month, fill out an application for 2 years.
Wow.
They all knew me. The front desk girl, Corey. What up, Corey?
That's what you have to do.
Knew who I was. I would call every day to win. I didn't care what they were giving out. I'd call every day to win. Once in a while, I would win tickets. Didn't care what it was. I just wanted to show face. Applied for years, probably about 4 years, until I finally got my interview. Got the interview, did promotions, wanted to be on air, snuck in production. One night when the promotion kids weren't allowed in production, snuck in production with
you gotta do.
with my guy
Yeah.
Johnny. We did this air check to see a mock air check to see how we sound in the air. It got in the hands of the program director at the time. You guys might be familiar. He's like a big deal out here in Phoenix. Bruce St. James? He's on KTAR.
Okay, yeah. I've heard the name.
Yes, Bruce and Pamela. He's one of my mentors. And he's like, call us into a meeting. He's like, I heard the tape. And we're like, what tape? He's like, you know what tape. Dude, do you understand? Like, my heart felt like I thought I was fired.
Yeah.
My dream job.
Right.
Fire. He's like, we're like, You guys want to be on this weekend? We're like, what? You guys want to rock this weekend? Yes. All right, you're on 1 to 6 in the morning. Okay. We walked in staring at each other.
Right.
And we're like, what the hell just happened?
Right.
And we just start doing weekends, fill in. Hey, Joey, hey, Johnny, you guys want to do Christmas? Yes. You want to do the New Year's while the other DJ's making money? Yes. So we did that for a couple years. Then they were going through a format change.
Okay.
They're going to go a different direction. They let us go at nights. That was a heartbreaker. I stayed on and did some weekend shifts. Then we did a morning show in Houston for a year. Then that didn't work out. They changed the format of the station. And then we went back to LA. Then I did Ventura, California, little beach community where I met my wife. Loved the Ventura, the good old 805. What's up, 805? And then me and I did afternoons. My partner at the time with this whole radio tour, he had went back to college, but then our station was looking for a night show. They hired him on. And then years later, Bruce St. James was running a hip-hop station out here.
Okay.
Called us up. How you guys would like to move to Phoenix? This is 2002.
Right.
I knew nothing about Phoenix. I knew exactly what everyone sees on TV. This cactus desert.
It's desert with the tumbleweeds and the cactuses.
That's all I thought. I was like, there's no way I'm moving to Phoenix. He flew us down. We hung out for 3 days. I fell in love with the city, and we moved out here, and the rest is history. I've been off and on here since 2002, mainly on. So 17 years here in the Valley. Started my family here with my wife. I absolutely love it. I still talk to Bruce every once in a while. He does radio talk or talk radio here in KTAR. I'm at Live 101.5, but he's the one that gave me my first shot. So it's full circle.
So what was the one thing in your career that may have come from Bruce or someone in your life that was advice that just clicked with you that you still run with today, and that's how you attribute your success? What's something that you could give to the listeners that's just like, the go-to thing for, advice for success for you?
You know what? Actually, that's funny. Bruce gave me some great advice that I keep to this day, and I pass it forward. People kind of measure, well, wow, you made it. And I look at them, and Bruce told me, there's no finish line. There is no finish line. Like, yeah, I'm in radio. Keep on running. Am I syndicated yet? Am I in big market yet? Am I making the money that I want yet?
Right.
There's no finish line. He's like, even look at the Howard Sterns in life. It's like, there's no finish. It's
always changing. Yeah.
It's all you got to adjust.
Always growing, always
changing. You got to adapt. Even if you probably ask Howard Stern, there's probably still another goal that he wants to achieve. There's no finish line for radio. And I think you could apply it in life, whatever you're doing, whatever we're all doing. There is no finish line. You keep on going. So I kind of attribute that to me as I get older. I don't get complacent. I adjust. I adapt. Eventually, I had to adapt to social networking. Understand that's a job in its own when you're trying to brand yourself. But I understand there's no finish line. I'm nowhere near finish. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But one thing is important. I'm happy.
Right.
Because there was a couple times in my radio career where I wasn't happy. And I was ready to toss in the towels. Like, I'm going to do something else. I don't want to do this. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
But it's fun again. And I'm still running. It's running the marathon, baby.
So how in your career have you approached maybe some of the setbacks that you've had over the years? What is your avenue to overcome those and to, continue down that path of growth and success for you?
I think it's adjusting and adapting with our listeners, the environment, the music, your content. It's, me and the show are going to a morning show boot camp. We're flying out to Chicago with some of the top morning shows in the U.S. And I look at it as a learning experience. Always study your craft. Always learn from it. What else is there? What else can you? I see some friends that they're tattoo artists, and I see them going to conventions and always learn from other tattoo artists. They're always learning. They're always learning their craft. Yeah. I think whatever you do, if you're an interviewer, you probably study other people that do interviews, and you're probably like, wow, that's interesting. I see his approach, and I see how he opened that question this way and that way. It's the same with radio to me.
Definitely.
It's always studying the craft. It's always learning from your mistakes. It's always being a little bit more vulnerable to it. Like listening to my shows, like, man, I could have hit that punchline way better, or man, I should have asked this.
Right.
It's just studying yourself, self-checking yourself. But like the morning show boot camp, we're hella excited. We're like, Dad, we're gonna meet go out there. I think the Breakfast Club is going to be out there from New York.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
all these big morning shows that I want to just tug at their ear and ask them my questions, like, how did you get from point A to point B?
Right.
How do you keep the vibe of your morning show keep going so you don't get on each other's nerves?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
So how have you seen the transition over the years being in radio for as long as you have? You were talking to me earlier about having guests on the show, and now it's more about the personalities of the people on the show. How have you seen that transition over the years, and what are you guys doing to stay at the forefront of radio right now?
You know what? I can speak on, I've done every shift. I've done nights, I've done afternoons, I've done overnights, weekends, and now mornings. Mornings is a different monster. Mornings is crazy because you're competing with everybody with content. You got to create the content. Everybody can play the same music. If you go different radio stations, they're all playing the same 6 songs, right? So what the difference is what's between the music. Your content. Content is king, as we found out, that people want to hear about your life, your slice of life. I have great co-hosts on the show. Got a niche. Got Gina, got Carla, and myself, and we're all very, very different. So we bring a different aspect of our life. Whether Carla's a 23-year-old young Latino, graduated ASU. Anish is an openly gay Indian guy who has a different lifestyle, also ASU.
Yeah.
And then Gina, she's 26, 27, mommy, expecting another one. Graduated ASU. Sun Devils, what's up, man? I'm about these Sun Devils.
We're running Arizona, baby.
And then there's me, a community college dropout from LA.
Hey, I don't think you're doing too bad. So
I think I'm doing okay for myself. It's just, and you know what? Another major thing is we actually like each other.
Yeah.
Our morning show, we're actually friends. I've seen these morning shows that they work with each other for a paycheck, and I could tell they don't like each other. Like, ooh, y'all don't like each other. Y'all doing it for the paycheck. It's so easy getting up early when you're just getting up to hang out with your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you're fighting for each other, and you work for each other, and you work with each other. But I found out it's a great environment if you create one. And over the air, we're all going to be playing the same songs on the radio stations. It's the content. What do the listeners care about? What do they want to hear? You're serving them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so how are you getting that feedback then? Or is it through social media then, or callers, obviously, and things like that? What are you looking at?
A lot of it is through social media. A lot of it. I have a term with my show when we do a bit or conversate about content. I'm busy editing on the other. I'm running the boards. I'm editing calls. I'm editing whatever's coming up. Oh, the social's lit. I know if our socials are lit, like people are retweeting or and they're DMing and they'll be like, I can't believe Joey said this. Or what? Oh my God, I love Anish. Oh my God, Carla's a trip. Oh my God, I love Gene. I know if our socials are lit,
right?
Then we're doing our job. Yeah. We're on the right track.
That's
when they're a little quiet,
yeah.
I like, yo, we missed the mark on that one.
Right.
So I'm not afraid of cracking the whip on the show, on myself. I'm very critical. As a matter of fact, Gina, what's up, Gina, on the show? She let me know yesterday. She goes, you're very critical on yourself, Joey.
Yeah.
I am. I'm myself's worst critic. I feel like I can always be better, do better, so I push myself.
Give me some of the behind the scenes as far as what goes in to produce the Morning Mess and how much time actually it takes to put on a great show.
24 hours. Literally, what I'm doing right now could be talked about.
Yeah.
I could drive out here and a bird could smash into my windshield. The heat is hot. The guy he's on the corner wanting money, but he has a funny sign. That's content. My whole life is content.
I saw your Thomas Road stuff. I think that's hilarious.
If you're local, if you ever go down Thomas Road, there's always...
That's all content.
That's all I gotta do is drive down Thomas Road, and I find content. Like on 28th Street, the mannequins. They have ghetto booties. They have big old booties with like stripper gear. Like, you can't make that up.
Right, yeah.
And that's literally, I was like, I've never seen, is it weird if these mannequins turn me on? And I talk about that, and then it becomes content.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
That's cool.
There was these two guys on Thomas Road in bikes. These old guys. I don't know if they were homeless or they're just two old guys in bikes pedaling towards each other like they're jousting. And one of them swung at the other one. Like, what happened to where we're going to settle an argument?
Together? Yeah.
You get on your bike, okay, we're jousting. Thomas Road is content. Yeah. Anytime I need something, I go off Thomas Road. But yeah, I just have, our show is just it's just hilarious. I can't wait to go on Monday or every morning and seeing what the other people did in their day off, their weekend, or the night before.
So do you study other shows then, or do you block that out and just focus on your own thing?
I'm gonna be honest. No other like I'll look at some shows, but to me, I find the IG stories of my show more interesting than anything out there.
Yeah.
You know,
Which you should.
Yeah, and if I didn't, I'd let them know. My show makes me laugh, like individually. I could look at Carla's stuff and just laugh. Anish is crazy. It's just they all have a different dynamic. I'll look at stuff. I'm not really big into looking at people's interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been there, done that. I work for hip hop stations so much. Like, and the people that ask about the production and the studio time, like that bores me. Get me talk. I want to hear something different. I want to hear something that's going to grab me and like, that's an interesting question or that's a different outlook than rather like, yo, I heard so-and-so produced a track. Tell me about how that was. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I want real life. Like, how
Definitely.
do you feel about what's going on in the world today?
So tell me, what current endeavors are you working on right now? I know I've seen that you have a merch line coming out,
Yeah.
some T-shirts and stuff like that, and then maybe some stuff happening with YouTube as well. Tell us a little bit about what you have going on.
Yeah, this is the busiest I've ever been in life. Obviously the radio show is my priority. So the morning mess, Monday through Friday, 5:30 to 10 with the squad. That's my priority. Everyone knows that. Then I started an endeavor about 8-9 months ago called Bearded Lads.
Okay.
It's a gentleman's grooming line for beards, hair. We've got the pomades, the clays, where it's a big beard, small beard.
You're rocking it right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Have you always had that, or has that been years
This is the longest it's probably been, but
okay.
It wasn't too shorter than this about a year ago. I was using the product.
Yeah.
I was a fan of the product.
Yeah.
My wife, I was getting my beard done at a barbershop, and the guy put this stuff on me, and I liked the smell, and I liked it. I loved it. It's called Bearded Lads. So my wife was with me just waiting. She heard about it, so she ordered some for me. She asked the barber, where'd you get that? And it was a local guy. So I was using it for about a year.
Yeah.
And the guy found out it was me that was using it. He heard about me on the radio. He's like, dude, he started sending me these little care packages.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Then it came to like, dude, what do you want to be my ambassador?
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. Free product?
Right.
Let's do it. Well, we became friends. And at the end of last year, he's like, dude, do you want to partner up with me? Like, be my business partner with Bearded Lads. Let's open up a brick and mortar. Like,
that's awesome. Yeah.
So we have like the Bearded Lad Lounge on 24th Street, McDowell. And yeah, that's my venture with Bearded Lads.
Right.
So that's been fun. And then I got into, after that, we started the talks of the T-shirt line. No, actually, it was the YouTube channel. Now I have a family YouTube channel coming out. Probably, we already started filming as of last week.
Yeah.
That's interesting because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a bunch of work, editing, filming, getting all the content for that, putting it all together.
I have a very interesting family, and I've been asked about this YouTube channel for 10 years, 12 years. With my wife and kids. I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know how to do it. Someone approached me about it. Why don't we do this and we do that? And we have a guy follow you, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, the hell with it. Let's roll the dice on this. So that should be coming out within the next month and a half. It's going to be called Rolling with Rodriguez.
Okay, yeah, that's exciting.
So they're going to follow me, my wife. It's not going to be just about me. I'm going to follow my wife because my wife is God. Behind every good man is a great woman, and she supported me throughout these years, and she's the real star in our family. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she does eyelashes, and she's with a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, 14-year-old in high school who wants to be in the NFL. Then she has 2 older kids. One plays college football, New Mexico.
Yeah.
She has an older daughter that's a successful barber. I mean, her schedule.
Yeah, holy
crazy.
cow. No kidding.
So the YouTube channel, check out for it. It's going to be a smash.
Definitely.
Rolling with Rodriguez. And then the latest is a T-shirt line. If you listen to the show, I have a lot of catchphrases.
Okay.
And I've been saying some of these catchphrases for years, but it got to a point every time I'm out with my family at Target.
You hear it?
I just hear people in the back just yelling out, "You gotta risk it to get the biscuit." Joey boy, what up? Hey, what's up, man? Or I'm at the gas station. JoeyBoy, hey, what's up, man? You got to risk it. And then they're waiting for me to say,
yeah, you got to put yours in.
To get the biscuit. And it became a thing. And all these other catchphrases that I say, did y'all know? And Thomas Road versus everybody. Yeah. And the oh my God, Amber, when I tease my wife.
Yeah.
That became a thing. And my friend EC says, why don't we put out a t-shirt line with all your phrases? So literally, he just set it up right now. He just sent me the link. And as of tonight, we'll be selling all the t-shirt lines. So it's going to be JoeyBoy merch.
Okay.
And it's going to be all my catchphrases.
JoeyBoymerch.com then, or what's the website address?
I know it's going to be on Instagram. You just send me the Instagram account. It's joeyboy.merch on IG. And then I'll put up the link of the website. Yeah. I think he just literally just built it. So, I'm doing a lot, my G. Yeah, a lot's going on.
And speaking of your wife and your kids and stuff like that, how important is it to have that strong family bond? How much does it play into your career and your happiness and your enjoyment around what you do?
I'm not myself without my family, and just this weekend I had a radio promotion at Wild Horse Pass.
Yeah.
Because we're endorsed by Gila River Hotels and Casinos. So George Lopez was in town. They're like, hey, would you want to come out, see George, and we'll put you up at the hotel. So I told my wife, do you want to go? She's like, no, I have too much going on. You just go.
Right.
What an understanding wife. Yeah, you go stay at a hotel room by yourself.
Yeah.
So I get to Wild Horse Pass. I've never stayed there. I go to Ling and Louie's, Chinese food. That's so amazing food, by the way. I have dinner by myself. Like, all right, let me check in the room, shower up, give me a few hours before the show. I walk in, they give me a suite.
Yeah.
So I have this big suite, huge suite, living room and kitchen, big room, and a big shower you can fit in 17 of my kids.
Right.
So I hit my wife. I'm like, babe, why don't you just pack overnight, bring the kids.
Get them out here.
Yeah. The kids love. What kids don't love to jump around in beds at a hotel, get room service? So I felt guilty, man. I felt guilty having a whole suite to myself. And my wife and the kids are at home. I'm like, no, I want to share these perks with my wife and kids. You know what? I'm a lot happier when they're around me. So within an hour, they're there. The kids are so happy. I'm like, we're going to order room service. Daddy got to go downstairs to work. Because I can't explain who George Lopez is to a 2-year-old. Daddy got to go to work. And my 2-year-old's like, you going to be the lads? I'm like, no. Cruz is like, you going to make T-shirts? Like no, all my hustles.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you got? Like, yeah, I'll be back.
No, that's cool.
They're my normalcy. Like, sometimes I have anxiety, which is I don't really talk about too much. I talked about a little bit on the show.
Right.
Sometimes I get social anxiety. My wife and kids bring me down.
They bring that comfort level for sure.
Yeah, they are, man. I'm just comfortable with my wife and kids. So if I'm doing a hotel, if I'm out of town, I've taken them to Vegas with me. I had to go to Vegas for like 4 days. And people thought, like, you're taking your wife and kids to Vegas. You're taking your 4-year and 2-year to Vegas. Like, yeah, man. Like, I can work. I can do what I got to do. If they're back at the hotel room, I'm good. So.
Are you a craps guy, or what do you do in the casino?
I'm not a big gambler. I'm not even a big gambler. I'll play roulette just because I like people.
Right.
I like sitting next to people and getting free beers, if they come back around.
Yeah.
If, I pull out 100 and just, I play mainly black. And I talk to people. I like meeting people. And roulette's that kind of game where you can kind of chit-chat. With blackjack or craps, people are too intense into the game. Roulette, you could really have a conversation.
Right.
While the guy's doing one of these, no more bets, and the wheel is spinning. Like, hey, where you from?
Yeah.
What's going on? What brings you? So I like that of Vegas, getting to meet new people. I like the food. I like the nightlife. And meeting people.
So what are some of those things in Arizona that you like to do locally? What are things that you do with the family on the weekend? Where are places that you go that you like to hang out at? And
for the most part, we stay at the crib, but and just jump in the pool. But we like staycations.
Yeah,
we love staycations. I feel like besides San Diego, I love San Diego. I'll take a drive to San Diego anytime. I love it, San Diego, but. All the money to spend to go on vacation and fly out, everyone and go to like LA or San Francisco or all that. Phoenix, you kidding me? The resorts that we have here?
Everywhere. That's something I did all the time as a kid. We would do staycations a few times a year. It's just awesome.
The Princess? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like you feel like you are living a lap of luxury in Beverly Hills or something. So that's our favorite spot to stay, the Fairmont. Yeah, the Princess is awesome. We like staying there. What else do we do? We do a lot of staycations. Our schedule's so busy that I'm working a lot.
Right.
Concerts. I work a lot of concerts, so I take my lady to certain concerts. My son is 14, so he wants to go to like Little Pump and stuff like that. So I got to get tickets for Little Pump. You know, I think the last Post Malone, funny story, Post Malone was in town. Hot ticket.
Yeah.
Your boy got the hookup. I got Post Malone tickets. My 14-year-old son wants to see the opener.
Right.
Slump God. Have you heard of Slump God?
I haven't.
Ski Mask, Slump God. You heard of him? I never heard of him.
Yeah.
My son is his friend, so I get 4 tickets. Want to go see Slump God, Ski Mask. Was it Ski Mask, Slump God? Yeah. That guy. My son starts playing me the music. It's pretty dope. I like the music. It's my son educating me on that. And I'm like, I want to see him now.
Oh, that's cool.
So just making memories with my kids now. And it's different. You know, he's 14. I could appreciate his music. When he's in the car, you have to bump some Biggie with me. You know, so he's learning about Biggie and Mobb Deep. And that's what I listen to. Right. Some Bust, some Wu-Tang. So my son is versed on my 90s hip-hop. And I listen to Slum God.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's a really, really cool relationship I have with him. But yeah, we do a lot of stuff through radio, if that makes sense. We have movie screenings. So we'll go to movie screenings. If I have promotions, whether I can bring the family. I just did a big promotion with like a Big Surf. So I was taking the family to Big Surf. Every once in a while, I host clubs. I'll take my wife to the clubs.
Right.
So we stay busy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, what does the next 5 to 10 years look like? Are you, where's that growth? Yeah, I know you've talked about some of the things that you have going on, but what is it that you're really trying to go after and achieve in your career?
I just know, like facts, this is the best morning show in radio. I know that. I feel it. I've worked too hard to get to this point, to know at this point. I know what's out there. I know what I've listened to. I know what's authentic. It's a small industry. And for me, with this show is the next point for me with the show is like syndication. You know, I feel like other markets will benefit from our show, and we will benefit, obviously, from being syndicated. So I would love for our show to be carried in some of my favorite cities. I would love our show to be syndicated in LA, San Diego, Las Vegas, Texas.
Yeah.
I could see our show is so diverse that it will work anywhere. San Francisco. This show, you put this show in any market, it'll do well because we're not East Coast. We're not West Coast. We're just a diverse group of people that enjoy each other's company, make each other laugh, and in return, people are laughing with us and sometimes at us.
Yeah.
So the Morning Mess syndication is what I'm really striving for right now, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So wrapping up here, tell the people where they can follow you, how they can get a hold of you, or, really just listen to the show, Morning Mess, what time it's on in the morning, 101.5.
Yes, sir.
Let them know what's going on.
Yeah, 5:30 to 10 weekdays, Morning Mess, live 101.5, myself with my squad, Anish, Gina with a J, Carla with a K, and even my son, Cruz, does a little segment on our show, Cruz on Film.
Nice.
He acts out a little scene in the movie. If you guess it, we give you the big ticket in the morning. It's a family affair. You can follow me on the socials. I'm really, really heavy on Instagram, at Who's JoeyBoy. So follow me literally on my IG stories. I live my whole life the whole day on my IG stories. You could see that. Look out for the family YouTube channel. I know a lot of people are fans of my wife because she's like a mom blogger. So a lot of that will be on that as well as behind the scenes of the Morning Mess. So it's going to be called Rolling with Rodriguez, the whole family. Bearded Lads, the gentleman grooming company. Follow Bearded Lads. What else? The T-shirt line, the JoeyBoy merch.
You got a lot going on, don't you?
Bro. Hanging out with Day One Podcast.
There we
You know
go,
what I'm saying?
baby.
The grind don't stop.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no finish line in life. There's no finish line. It's a marathon.
Awesome. My guy, JoeyBoy, thanks for joining us on the Day One Podcast.
Absolutely, my friend.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Yep.